how do we counterbalance? How do we, with this motion all day long, how do I strengthen my muscles to improve my posture? As we are knowledge workers, most of us are sitting for a living, and we're in a position which is causing a natural consequence called kyphosis, a rounding of the shoulders. And so we are seeing ourselves in this position all day long. Look at the impact I'm having. And literally with our phones, we're in this position all day long. So simply just either seated, I would prefer standing, just performing a simple isometric motion of pulling our hands back towards our chest and then pressing out and just extending as a stretch, pulling back again. Simple motion of pushing and pulling. Now, if you have a desk, just doing some desk push-ups or even a wall push-up, going up against a wall, leaning back, bring your feet about 2 to 3 feet behind you, place your hands on the wall about shoulder level, coming down to near nose level and pressing back. Wonderful for the tricep, the pec muscles, the shoulder muscles. Again, engaging even your core. Doing these types of motions throughout your day are extremely beneficial. But the primary reason I'd like to help people understand our posture. We forget about throughout our day how much of our day is with this large weight pulling our back. And as you mentioned with your back, it's critical that we understand, how do we counterbalance? How do we, with this motion all day long, how do I strengthen my muscles to improve my posture? I like to tell my clients, you will look 10 to 15 pounds lighter by improving your posture. When we look at elite athletes like gymnasts and ballet dancers, beautiful symmetry because of their core strength. And that really leads to twisting. And that's a wonderful movement as well. But I like to tell people, push and pull is really balancing your posture, especially your upper body.
And what's the 30-30 rule that you've put in there?
I like to tell people, ideally, think about the 30 seconds, really the 30 seconds of movement that you can perform every 30 minutes. So think of that as a great rule of thumb. Really, it doesn't take much time. So some people like to say, every 20 minutes we should be moving. But I like to think of either every hour or every 30 minutes, perform just a 30-second movement. Could be deep breathing, it could be a simple push-pull, could be a simple stretch, could be a simple step, could be any of those types of movements.
And then you mentioned the twist. Why do we need to twist?
Okay, so I won't have you do this, but seated on the end of your chair, placing your hands across your chest and just rotating to the side. To the side. You're engaging your abdominal wall and your oblique muscles, coming back to center and then going the opposite side. Now that's beneficial. Now if you were to sit on the end of your chair and lean back, this is a motion that we call in the fitness world a Russian twist. It was developed by the Russians. It's a phenomenal movement, but literally in this position, you're leaning back, you're engaging your core more. But think about this. How often are we twisting throughout our day? When you're driving, you're twisting. When you go to pick up something, a newspaper, it doesn't matter what you may be doing, but I like to tell people, think of the functional fitness that you want to experience in your 60s, your 70s, your 80s. These are movements that we need to continue to do throughout our day. So simply standing from your desk, performing just a simple twisting motion, being careful not to overextend, very beneficial for our core, our abdominal muscles, our oblique muscles primarily. Very beneficial and simple.
It is, but often I think of myself, I'm grabbing my computer bag, it's a backpack.
Yeah.
And I can do that badly or I can do it well, right?
Absolutely. And you bring up a really good point, and that is that so often our back injuries are, let's say we're traveling a lot, we're dehydrated, and we sneeze, or we go to pick up a set of keys, and all of a sudden that back just grabs us. We can, again, I like to think of it as motion affects emotion, but motion creates lotion. In other words, we're lubricating our joints, we're helping our body to really, our circulation is so critical. So I like to tell people, be careful when you're performing any twisting motion. But again, we need to think of ourselves as athletes. And that's hard to do, but an athlete takes such great care of their body, their instrument that they will be using in their profession. We have to use our body as well. Simple activities though, like picking up a set of keys.
Yes, and so engaging the core is really important because otherwise you're just using your peripheral muscles, you're going to hurt yourself.
Oh, no question. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then the final, number 7, was the lunge.
Oh, yeah.
The skill of lunging. Tell us about
Honestly,
that.
if I were to pick a favorite exercise for the entire lower body, it would be the lunge. And from a metabolic perspective, squat, lift, and lunging are critical because these are the engines of our body. These are large muscle groups. And as I shared with you, when I lost my engine, it affected my entire body. Lunging is a very functional movement in that it really requires balance. But I like to tell people, start not with a walking lunge, because that's a challenging motion. I would start with a static lunge, where you place 1 foot behind you, 1 foot in front of you, and just go down about a quarter distance to where you're not really down too low. It's not going to be difficult for you. Hold that position for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Switch legs and do the opposite side. Static lunges are phenomenal because you're not really, especially for folks that may have difficulty with their knees or their joints, staying in one position without moving still causes the muscles to be activated, and obviously it creates resistance, so our body has to adapt.
Give us some tips for how to stay motivated.
Oh, wow. So I've discovered in writing the 10-minute Total Body Breakthrough and the burst workout and even Fitness That Works, the number one reason why I think most of us struggle with exercise and physical activity is we don't know our why. We need to understand the bigger reason for moving. And we've been traveling around the country sharing this with individuals, and we've really discovered that once you know your why, it doesn't matter really how long. Because I found I was giving people 10-minute workouts, even 1-minute workouts, and if they didn't have their why, they weren't going to do it. So what is it that inspires you, propels you, encourages you, helps you to think bigger picture? What's your reason? I discovered clients would come to me, Sean, I want to lose weight. I've got a wedding to go to or a reunion to go to. And I said, that's great, but can you give me something bigger, something that's beyond that, that will carry you through those times when we just don't want to exercise? So I really want to encourage folks, think about the deeper reasons, the bigger why. Everything from, it's for my family. It's for my calling in life. Maybe it's I'm a doctor and I want to continue to help as many people as I can. How do I do that? I've got to stay fit. I've got to stay healthy. So connect that why with your objective of staying healthy and well, and it's magic. It's absolutely magic. So I would say by far the greatest tip I could say is dig for your why, find your why.